In the previous video, we saw how and when one-point perspective appears. This happens when the objects we want to draw are facing us, and their vanishing point is behind them over the eye level. We also learned how to draw one-point perspective by drawing simple boxes with one single vanishing point. Letters in perspective. In this video, we are going to use the same procedure we saw in the previous video to draw more complex shapes, like these letters in one-point perspective. We will see how, by just repeating the same pattern, we can later on modify the letters, turning them into shapes rich in detail and complexity. Piled boxes. When it comes to drawing complex shapes, we must always begin by reducing them to simpler forms. In this case, for example, to calculate the total length of the figure, we will simplify it by putting it inside a big container box. Once we have found the back face of the box, we can outline the known edges of the letter. To discover the position and height of the unknown edges, we will simplify their volume again into two new independent boxes. Remember that the length lines must foreshorten to the vanishing point, while the height and width remain always vertical and horizontal. By dividing the shapes into separate boxes, it becomes much easier to understand how long and at which distance the missing edges will be. When the figure is completed, we can delete the helper lines to get the clean and finished one-point perspective letter. For the next letter, we will directly begin by dividing it in two. When we draw the first part, we will decide the length we want the letter to have. When we move on to the second box, we will start by foreshortening the length to the vanishing point. We must be very careful to use the same measurement for the length. To do so, we will connect the back corners of the first box to the back of the second, and from there, we will raise the height lines and the width lines, finding the back face of our T letter. We will outline the contours and delete the helper lines to polish the figure. For the C letter, we will repeat the same process by starting with a container box. We could divide the shape in 3 more boxes if it was necessary, but in this case it's very easy to understand the position of the missing edges, so we will draw them directly. We will begin the following letter by drawing an upside-down L shape for the main body of the F, and we will set the appropriate length to it. We must be very careful next not to make a wrong foreshortening for the little appendix of the F, since it is shorter than the top line. To transfer the length correctly, we will treat this appendix like an independent box. Next, we will mark the lower back edge, that will be the horizontal line from the intersecting point between the foreshortened length and the back edge of the upside-down L we had already discovered. The following letter is going to offer us a new challenge: to transfer the foreshortened length of the container box to the inner hole. We will start by drawing the big box that holds the body of the letter. Then, we will repeat the same for the inner hole, treating it like it was a box of its own. This is the part where we must be most careful, because both boxes must have the same length no matter what. To transfer the length from the big box to the small, we will copy the height of the smaller box into the edge of the bigger one by drawing 2 horizontal parallel lines. From these points, we will foreshorten the copied height of our small box to the back edge of the big box, which we will once again slide horizontally. This way, we have found the true length of the body of our O. The last letter ought to be the most complicated one, since it's a mix of all the other challenges we have faced so far. We will again repeat the same steps we used for the other letters. When facing the challenge of transferring the length of the main body to the hole, we could do the same we did with the O, but in this case we will count with the advantage of having a known face at the base of the A that will tell us the exact position of the back edge of our letter. This way, we have just completed the construction of our letters in one-point perspective. Adding details. If you have reached this point, it means you control the secrets of one-point perspective. You can now unleash your creativity and beautify the letters, giving them a unique touch by using the same old steps we just watched. Once you are capable of turning these blocky structures into complicated forms, it will mean you are ready to draw anything you want. Coming up next. In the next video, we will see a step-by-step example of how to draw a basic level scene with one-point perspective. See you then! Stay tuned for our next tutorials.